me go back to Ms. Bumpus. Ms. Bumpus, it's been well over a month since the committee's oversight letter about the FTC's rulemaking on non-compete clauses was sent, and explained in that letter the FTC lacks legal authority to promulgate this rule and is also running roughshod on federalism in a well-established area of state law. On February 28th, the FTC provided a written response and only 43 pages of notifications that schedule a variety of meetings. On March 7th, over 3 weeks ago, the FTC made a production of around 1,400 more pages of materials, but of that production, only about 100 pages were not already publicly available. And none of them have provided any insight as to the internal discussions that have led to this radical proposed rule. Understand that the FTC has said they'll produce materials on a rolling basis, but it's been more than a month since the FTC received this oversight letter and 22 days since the last production. When does the FTC expect to complete its production of responsive documents?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I can't tell you when we expect to complete it. I can tell you that we're continuing to work on it, and we expect to make another production in April. We've reached out to your staff, and we hope to engage with them to learn more about your priorities. Well,
it's well known that the FTC frequently seeks extensive information from private parties that it investigates. When those parties fail to produce what's required for the FTC to conduct its investigation, the FTC also seeks sanctions. In the FTC's response to this inquiry, most of what it's provided is already publicly available or otherwise incomplete. I find it quite remarkable and inconceivable that the FTC would tolerate such a production from parties under its own investigation. What should the committee take from the FTC's paltry production to date on this important matter?
I hope the committee takes that we respect your oversight authority and that we'd like to be responsive, and we will look forward to continuing to work with you to get there.
In its letter in response to the committee's oversight of the FTC's proposed non-competes rulemaking, the FTC said that a CFPB employee served a detail to the FTC and worked on the rulemaking. This CFPB employee, quote, led the team on a daily basis. He supervised the drafting of the notice of proposed rulemaking, ensured versions of the draft NPRM were circulated to the team and bureaus for their review, ensured versions of the draft NPRM were circulated to the Commission for its review, and oversaw any necessary legal research, end quote. This is an interesting and troubling development. It raises questions about former Commissioner Chopra's outsized remaining influence at the FTC. It is well known that Chair Khan was on Rohit Chopra's staff, and she gave jobs overseeing the competition and consumer protection missions, as well Chief of Staff and Chief Technologist to Rohit Chopra's other staffers. Now we are learning Rohit Chopra's influence continues as he has assigned one of his CFPB employees to a detail at the FTC, and that employee has led and supervised the FTC's non-compete rulemaking effort. The committee has questions related to the FTC's decision to staff this rulemaking in this way. However, for you, as the Director of the Office of Congressional Relations who coordinates the FTC's responses to our inquiries, let me ask, did the FTC take any steps to coordinate your response to this committee's with the staff at the CFPB?
Not that I'm aware of, Mr. Chairman.
When you helped coordinate the production to the committee, did you raise the issue that additional searching would need to be done at the CFPB?
I wasn't involved in the production itself. I don't know.
Former Commissioner Rohit Chopra is the director of CFPB. Has your office been in touch with him about responding to the committee's request?
I have not been in touch with him, and no one in my office has.
Who at the FTC is supervising the CFPB's employees' leadership on this issue? I'd like a name.
I'm not sure I understand the premise of your question.
Who at the FTC is supervising over the CFPB, this specific employee's leadership in this area? Do you know of the employee that of whom I'm speaking?
I believe the employee you're talking about was employed in the Office of Policy Planning.
Okay, and who is the head of, or who was supervising that official in policy and planning?
I believe the current head of the Office of Policy Planning is Elizabeth Wilkins.
Okay. In your experience, how common is it for the FTC to rely on staff of another federal agency to lead its teams on a daily basis and supervise drafting of rules?
I don't know.
what other interaction does your office or the FTC have with the CFPB that this committee should be aware of?
I'm not sure of the extent of our interaction. I know that both of us agencies are charged with consumer protection, so I would assume that there would be interaction, but I can't characterize the amount of it.
Okay. I just want to note that even in the limited materials that were provided, we can see that the FTC staff communicated using a staffer's personal Gmail account. And in other instances, the employee was using the employee's CFPB account, and other CFPB employees were using their CFPB accounts to communicate with the FTC on this matter.